What's going on? Okay. What's going on? What's going on? Give me a second here. I think I'm perfect. Okay.
La boo boo, mommy's here.
What the hell? What's going on? Sankula, be a good boy. Come back to Genshin. I'm not going back to Genshin Impact. I'm not going back to Genshin Impact, bro. I don't care about Barca. Barca looks cool. He looks like a handsome dude. He looks handsome. He looks strong. He looks all that. But I'm not going back to Genshin Impact, bro. Hell no, man. What's up, Marge? How's it going? How's college? What's up, Mars? How are you? Hopefully your immune system is not chopped. Or chalked, I should say. We got immune system, honestly. Anyways, we have a video that I've been wanting to watch with y'all. I'm not gonna lie. It's called "Could You Survive a Nanosecond on the Sun?" Now, in my opinion, I think you can, for sure. A nanosecond? I know the sun's really, really hot. How hot? Usually I have all the answers, but in this case I don't know. Hopefully this video will go and explain how hot the sun is. But can you survive a nanosecond on Earth? Now, 1 whole second? No, you'd be incinerated. But a nanosecond? I don't believe so. So put in your bets now. What do y'all think? I think personally, you can survive. You can survive without any injuries, without any major burns on your skin. All right, let's find out.
Let's go.
When I was
Ain't no way what? That you would survive? Or ain't no way you would survive? That makes no sense.
Huh?
But I'm saying you can survive. You're cooked literally. You think you're cooked? Okay. A nanosecond. All right. Now, if it was a full second, I would be on your side. But a nanosecond? I think the Courage the Cowardly Dog episode where he changes the bulb. Yeah, I don't watch those shows.
I was about 8 years old, shoveling snow on a freezing day in Colorado. I wished that I could instantly be transported to the surface of the sun, just for a nanosecond, and then instantly transported back. I figured this would be long enough to warm me up, but not enough to harm me. What would actually happen?
Courage the Cowardly Dog gave me trauma, but I also loved it. You know what gave me trauma? Goosebumps. Y'all remember Goosebumps?
Believe it or not, this wouldn't even warm you. The temperature of the surface of the sun...
Alright, there you go. There's your answer. It wouldn't... A nanosecond right at the surface of the sun would not even warm you up. There you go. No shocker you don't watch those shows. You weren't even alive when TVs were a thing. Okay, you're banned, buddy.
sun is about 5,800K, give or take. If you stayed there for a while, you'd be cooked to a cinder.
There you go, too many nanoseconds. So a whole second, you're cooked. You're incinerated, obliterated, however you want to take it. But a nanosecond, yeah, man.
Is not very long. It's enough time for light to travel about a foot. I'm going to assume you're facing toward the sun. In general, you should avoid looking directly at the sun, but it's hard to avoid when it takes up a full 180 degrees of your view. In that nanosecond, about a microjoule of energy would enter your eye. A microjoule of light is not a lot. If you stare at a computer monitor with your eyes closed, and then you open them and shut them very quickly, your eye will take in about as much light from the screen during your reverse blink as it would during a nanosecond on the sun's surface. Is there a word for that? Okay. Like the blink, but...
That's not a lot. That's not a lot.
Reverse? I feel like there should be a word for that. Anyway, during the nanosecond on the sun, photons from the sun would flood into your eye and strike your retinal cells. Then, at the end of the nanosecond, you jump back home. At this point, the retinal cells wouldn't have even begun responding. Over the next few million nanoseconds, or milliseconds, the retinal cells, having absorbed a bunch of light energy, would get into gear and start signaling to your brain that something had happened. You would spend 1 nanosecond on the sun, but it would take 30 million nanoseconds for your brain to notice. From your point of view...
There you go. There you go. Now, it begs the question, how many nanoseconds would it take for the sun, for you to be transported in front of the sun or surface of the sun, where it doesn't burn you, it doesn't injure you, it doesn't incinerate you, but it warms you up in a good way? For example, this person who was in Colorado shoveling snow, obviously they're very, very cold and they want to get warmed up. So I wonder how many nanoseconds would it take for you to be transported to the sun, get warmed up real quickly, but not enough nanoseconds where you get blinded by the light, and not enough nanoseconds where you get burned to death.
All you would see is a flash. The flash would seem to last much longer than your time on the sun, only fading as your retinal cells finally quieted down. The energy absorbed by your skin would be minor, about 10 to the minus 5 joules per square centimeter of
You guys are in college, right? What does joules mean? Not jewels as in jewelry, but jewels and jewels.
Exposed skin. For comparison, according to the IEEE P1584 standard, holding your finger in the blue flame of a butane lighter for 1 second delivers about 5 joules per square centimeter to the skin, which is roughly the threshold for receiving a second-degree burn. The heat during your sun visit would be 5 orders of magnitude weaker than that. So other than the dim flash in your eyes, you might not even notice. But what if you got the coordinates wrong? The sun's surface is relatively cool. It's hotter than, like,
That's a good question. I like this segue.
Phoenix, but compared to the interior of the sun, it's downright chilly. The surface is a few thousand degrees, but the interior is a few million degrees. What if you spent a nanosecond there?
In the core. That's a real good question.
Stefan Bolt.
And honestly, I'm going to say this. Before the gentleman here answers the question, I'm going to say it won't even hurt you. 1 nanosecond on the surface didn't even affect you. I'm going to say 1 nanosecond at the core of the sun doesn't even blind you, hurt you. It doesn't even touch your skin. That makes no sense. It does touch your skin. But it's not enough where it would burn you or even warm you up.
Law lets us calculate how much heat you'd absorb while inside the sun. It's not good.
Oh.
You would exceed the IEEE 1584b standard for second-degree burns after 1 femtosecond in the sun. A nanosecond, the time you're spending there, is 1,000,000 femtoseconds. This doesn't end well.
Never mind. I guess 1 nanosecond means you're cooked.
Flashback.
1 nanosecond on the surface didn't even affect you. I'm going to say 1 nanosecond at the core of the sun doesn't even blind you, hurt you. It doesn't even touch your skin.
For you. But there's some good news. Deep in the sun, the photons carrying energy around have very short wavelengths. They're not visible light, they're mostly a mix of what we consider hard and soft X-rays. This means that they penetrate into your body to various depths, heating your internal organs and also ionizing your DNA, causing irreversible damage before they even start burning you. Looking back, I realize I started that by saying there's some good news. I don't know why I did that. Don't spend a nanosecond inside the sun. In Greek legend, Icarus flew too close to the sun, and the heat melted his wings and he fell to his death. It's true that the temperature is higher closer to the sun, but temperature and heat aren't the same thing. Melting, or any phase change of a substance, requires the absorption of a specific amount of heat energy per kilogram, and the heat absorbed is a function of both the temperature and the length of time you're exposed to it. Which brings us back to Icarus. His wings didn't melt because he flew too close to
Well, that makes no sense though. Did Icarus leave the Earth's atmosphere, and then did he fly to the sun?
2,000 years later.
Because back then in ancient Greece, or back then in general, society believed that the sun was not that far away from them, right? Back then, obviously we know the sun is light years and light years away from us, and they thought that if you go higher, it means that's hotter. But that's not the case, right? Because when you go higher, you get closer to space, which means it's colder. So this story makes no sense.
the sun. They melted because he spent too much time there. Visit briefly in little hops, and you can go anywhere.
I like this. I should really educate myself every now and then. A great video. Anyways, so I guess the question is, can you survive a nanosecond on the sun? At the surface, yes. At the core, no. Okay, there you go.